Hello again, and welcome back for another Brain Coach tip. I'm Jan Bedell, the Little Giant Steps Brain Coach. Thank you for spending your valuable time here at Brain Coach Tips. There are more and more families seeking help for their children to function better, emotionally, behaviorally, as well as academically. One way to be informed about pitfalls and how to avoid them is to listen to some of the previous Brain Coach tips. There's hope for change. Please share this website, braincoachtips.com, with someone you know. Now, today's subject is navigating special needs homeschooling. Have you ever thought you were the only one? You feel alone in the journey and just wish you had someone to bounce some ideas off of that had maybe walked in those similar shoes. Well, I have a special guest with me today that I think you're really going to enjoy hearing from. Her name is Michelle. She's the mother of 2 boys, both of which have unique learning and developmental needs. One with ADD and one that was on the autism spectrum. Michelle has been an integral part of Little Giant Steps team since 1997 and has been the director of parent support for the last 15 years. Michelle and I have another claim to fame as well. That is, we became grandmothers about the same time. But she is like one ahead of me in the count.
Thank you, Jan. It's great to be here today, and I'm really excited about talking about my 2 favorite subjects, my boys, Aaron and David. And if we have an opportunity to talk about my other favorite subjects, my 4 grandchildren, then that's even better.
Well, we'll see if we have time for that. That would be great. I would like my audience to get to know you a little better, so I guess this would be your opportunity. Can you tell us a little bit more about your journey with your son that led you to Little Giant Steps, and then you can share whatever you'd like.
Okay, I sure will. David was 11 years old when I first met you, Jan, if you remember. David was enrolled in a private school for special needs children where you were running a pilot program with some of the children there using the neurodevelopmental approach. At the time, David had severe learning challenges in math, reading, and writing. He had an expressive and receptive language delay, and he was displaying some autistic behaviors, but we hadn't had him tested yet. When he was 12, we took him to a well-known hospital in the area, as well as a pediatric neurologist. We were told he was borderline schizophrenic, which scared us to death, and that he would never be able to hold down a job, drive a car, or live on his own. We were devastated for about 2 weeks, and then we started looking for answers. And thank God we found them in you, Jan, and in Little Giant Steps.
Wow. I'm glad that God put us together because you have been instrumental in helping move this whole cause along and have had amazing results with your boys. So we'll fill everybody in about that, too. Let me ask you this. How important would you say it was for you to have help from Little Giant Steps in navigating your homeschool for David?
Well, Jan, I was still a very young mother, and I was really clueless in regards to homeschooling. I didn't know anyone who was homeschooling their child at the time. It was such a comfort and tremendous source of peace knowing I could depend on someone so knowledgeable and caring to give me direction and guidance for homeschooling David. In fact, it was you, if you remember, Jan, who had suggested I homeschool David in the first place, and it was the right decision at that time.
Well, and homeschooling is not for everybody, but I found that homeschooling really is something that works the best because the child tends to be less stressed in that situation. There's more time without having to worry about getting them to school and how much time is left after school and fitting in homework and things like that. And, you know, parents have the most at stake, and if they're equipped, they do an excellent job and get fabulous results. That's what I found. So I'm glad that most of our audience, I would say, is probably homeschooling or they may be considering homeschooling. You know, we have several programs that we offer that have direct support from you, Michelle, and from me as well, to families that are on our program. Of course, we have the in-person individual evaluation where I look at them, or a neurodevelopmentalist looks at them on like 6 different areas of development and 9 levels in each one of those areas and finds out where the glitches are, and then we write an individualized program based on parent interaction with us so that we know exactly what's going on, because the parents are the experts on the child, so we rely on that information. So we write an individualized program pulled from like 1,000 activities that we have in our database that's designed specifically for the needs of that child, and then they do that for about 4 months. And along the way, that's where you come in with the parent support. So we've got in-person kinds of evaluations like that, and then if families want to start out with some more basic things, which are very effective, we start at the basics anyway, or if they're too far to travel for an in-person evaluation, we have a couple of different options. One is called the Jump Start program, where we take an extensive history form, and based on the symptoms that we see there, we know after our years of experience with this what may be causing that, and we write a program based on that. The Jump Start is for 6 and under, and then the Advanced Brain Training, basically the same thing as the Jump Start, except for it's with older children, and we do some academic testing too, so that we can help guide the homeschool. All of these programs, the in-person evaluation, the Advanced Brain Training, and the Jump Start, have support that's provided to make your journey a successful one. Michelle, can you tell us a little about what kind of support our families do receive?
Sure. You know, Jan, we've worked hard over the years to provide our clients with the support they need to be successful with the various programs and services we provide. We have a website on which our clients can watch video clips of the various activities on either their individual, Jump Start, or Advanced Brain Training program. If the clients have questions or concerns that arise while they're on our program that cannot be answered by watching the videos or reading information on our website, that's where I come in. It's my job to support our clients by being available via email or phone. Sometimes, you know, our clients just need to talk to someone who's been there and done that.
I have really found that aspect, the fact that you have gone through the struggle, you've gone through the work, and you've made the difference. And you literally had to walk by faith that this was going to make a difference for the boys. That kind of experience makes all the difference in your being able to relate to them and help these families. What would you say is the most rewarding part of your job as Director of Parent Support for Little Giant Steps?
You know, Jan, I think I've mentioned this to you several times, but it gives me great pleasure to encourage mothers and fathers who are going through the same issues with their children that I went through with mine. I know the day-to-day struggles of having a child with special needs, but I also know the joy that comes from watching your child overcome a disability. I'm so thankful for everything Little Giants has done for my son. I thank God for you, Jan, and Little Giant Steps every day. Working for Little Giant Steps as support for our clients is a way that I can give back.
It's interesting. It's kind of like that scripture, comfort others with the comfort that you've received. That really is part of who we are and what we do. And it's also interesting that almost every member of our team at Little Giant Steps came from a positive experience with their child being on program. So we have a lot of empathy for families that are going through this kind of struggle. And over the years, we have worked with all types of issues, from syndromes to children that have labels to those that are just struggling and the parents don't know what to do because they don't know what's causing the issue. We hear story after story of changes in these children and adults that we work with. Michelle, can you give us 1 or 2 quick stories about successes that you've been a part of?
Well, it's hard to single out only 1 or 2 stories from all the many families that we've helped over the years. So many of our families have very similar struggles. I remember one parent sending me an email which she called a praise report. She shared with me that her child really hugged her for the first time, and it was completely voluntary and spontaneous. For parents who have a child who avoids physical contact, this is huge. That's an extreme example of a child on the autism spectrum. On the other hand, I can't tell you how many times I've received a monthly report from a parent in which they have written that their child is reading for pleasure for the first time and how thrilled they are. This may seem like a simple thing to some, but for those parents to whom reading has been a battle for years and making their homeschooling a drudgery, they can understand the significance and the joy of seeing their child pick up a book and read it simply because they want to.
Wow. Isn't it just so rewarding to hear those types of stories? From celebrating the tiny steps forward for severely involved kiddos to walking out of my office. One child just absolutely walked out of my office and said, "I'm cured of dyslexia." And it was really true, because dyslexia is a symptomatic label, and he didn't have any of those symptoms anymore. It's just great to be a part of the message of hope that we have. You know, it gets me up in the morning. I don't know about you.
Yes.
So your other son was labeled ADD, and you didn't homeschool him. What was the outcome with him of being on the neurodevelopmental approach?
It was life-changing. Aaron was 14 years old when we put him on the Little Giant Steps program. He had been taking medication for ADD for about 5 years. He had no self-esteem, Jan. He was a follower. He didn't have very many friends, and school and homework were such a struggle. It took hours to do a simple 1 page of homework. After just 12 months of working the ND program that you designed for him, we were able to stop his ADD medication. Aaron gained confidence as learning became easier for him, and his grades improved tremendously. He joined the band in high school and became a squad leader. He became a leader in our youth group at church. Today, Aaron is 33 years old. He's married with 4 wonderful children, and he's the co-owner and vice president of a small but successful telecommunications company.
Wow. Well, first of all, that makes me feel really old, but it's incredible to look back at the struggles that Aaron was having and seeing the success he is today. It is so great. And I don't want to let people be hanging about David either. He said he would never hold down a job, be able to drive, be able to live on his own. Give us an update on David.
Okay, so David is 30 years old. He is living on his own. He's been he's been working for the independent school system for 8 years. He's owned and operated his own vehicle for 10 years. He's just so successful. He's happy. He's well-adjusted. David has surpassed all of our expectations, and he continues to grow and develop, and we are just so very proud of him and so deeply thankful to God and to Little Giant Steps, and all I can say is praise God.
That is so great. I mean, I had that same experience with Janae. She didn't have as dramatic progress as that, living on her own and that kind of thing, but it really did change her life and her ability to function in life and bring joy to the world. So it's just thrilling to see what happens with these kiddos. Well, back to our subject of navigating. Last week I talked about making a strategic school start, and Michelle, you've had experience with that with your own children, and as a support person for Little Giant Steps. Do you have any specific advice for families to get back into the school routine?
Well, first of all, you have to make a plan. You need to pick a day when you're going to start school and then start on that day, no matter what happens. Even if all you end up doing that day is reading to your child. Because life happens and gets in the way of our best-made plans. So don't feel like you have to have everything organized and planned out for the full school year and do a full day's work on the very first day. Just get started doing a few things and then build from there. Sometimes the most challenging thing in life is just getting started. Remember, a body in motion stays in motion. A body at rest stays at rest. So read to your child, have them write their name on a piece of paper or a whiteboard, or say their ABCs or count to 50, etc. Just start.
That is really some good advice. When you were saying some of those things, I wondered if you would listen to what I said last week. That's actually some of what I did share last week that our listeners might go back and listen to.
You know, Dan, we've been working on this mind meld thing for about, 15 years now, and maybe it's working.
I think you might be right. One way to navigate through the special needs homeschooling is with knowledge. Knowledge really is power, and especially in this instance. If you would like to have the guidance of seasoned professionals in the field of neurodevelopment as you navigate your way through this journey of helping your child with special needs, go to littlegiantsteps.com and click on Our Services for more details. With most of our programs, you have the benefit of the support of people like Michelle, like you just heard. Don't you just love her? I mean, she's amazing. I just hear that all the time. Michelle is amazing from our clients. So thank you, Michelle, for being here. I just really appreciate you sharing with everyone today and bringing that hope.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you for letting me be a part of this, your program, and for letting me share my story with your listeners today.
It was very inspiring. Well, that's all the time I have for today. I hope that I have helped you in your journey toward navigating the complex world of special needs. Be sure to stay tuned, where you will receive more Brain Coach tips to make life and learning easier. In the meantime, please visit our sponsor, littlegiantsteps.com. They are dedicated to equipping you as parents so that your child can reach their full potential. Remember, neurodevelopment is a dynamic approach to life at any age. So think differently. The solution is not in the problem. So until next week, it's the Brain Coach signing off.